Welcome to Focus on Business, a podcast show for photographers with me, your host, Jane Goodrich. I'm talking to successful photographers so you can learn from our experiences and have the business of your dreams. So join us and let's focus on business. Hi, well, so today on the Focus on Your Business, we have the fantastic Mark Rosetto, and I am so excited to finally meet you. I have been following you for a while, bit of a fangirl here, and I am in your fantastic group that you have, a Facebook group. It's a photography business Facebook community, and it's really great advice and quality, and I just think you just run it really well. I can turn it over to you and you give a background because you have so much great information to talk about. So yeah, it's over to you.
Jane. Thanks, Jane. Yeah, look, the Professional Photography Business Network, it's a good bunch of people. It's a good group of photographers. I will do a disclaimer straight away. You will get stuck in the Australian world of the photography space. So it is mainly Australian. So if you can handle that, that's absolutely fine. But it's a really it's a great group of people because, as the title says, Professional Photography Business Network, majority of the people in the group are professionals and running professional photography businesses, which is great because it's really good. It's a great place to ask questions. It's a great place for sound advice as well, because you know that it's coming from a place of sincerity and experience rather than just someone's opinion of what you think you should do or you shouldn't do, but they don't actually run a business. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. So tell us, I know you've been a photographer, but you sort of moved away from it to more of your coaching photographers. But tell us a little bit about your journey and when you were shooting, what were you shooting?
Okay. I'll give you the lowdown. I'll give you the quick version, which is kind of funny at the same time. I wanted to be a fireman when I grew up. So I studied the fire in the fire brigade and things like that. And at 21, they weren't employing anyone. So the fireman friends I had were like, go travel, go do something. So I moved to the Whitsundays. I don't know if you know the Whitsundays in Australia. We're on the Great Barrier Reef. And I moved there to work in bars because that's what you do when you're 21. You go traveling and chase the world, just like Cocktail from Tom Cruise. That was my dream.
It wasn't out at the same time. You're not that old enough to be 21. And
No. Cocktail. I love that movie. It was so much fun.
I love that movie too. But...
So that's what I wanted to do. Anyway, I got there. I worked in bars. My roommate was an underwater dive photographer. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. I want to do that. And they're like, are you a photographer? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, okay, well, we'll get you a camera and we could teach you. But, can you dive? I'm like, never dived before. He's like, okay, we can get your dive license and go from there. Anyway, cut a long story short, I ended up working on a dive boat as an underwater photographer, taking photos of tourists for about 18 months, which was the best job ever. One thing that it learned me to do is to shoot to sell with the end product in mind. It taught me how to talk to people. It taught me how to capture in camera. It taught me how to sell artwork on the way home on the boat. And I learned a lot. From there, I moved to the UK where I worked in a gym in the sales department of things, which I learned sales quite a lot. They were really strict on knowing numbers and stats. So that's where that comes from. And then I worked for a photography studio in the UK. And I worked as the salesperson, the design appointment guy that sold artwork. Now, we sold £1 million worth of artwork every year. Wow. £1 million. It's like 2.4 million Australian dollars. Well, back then it was. Now it's probably $2 million. So I sold artwork time and time again. And really quickly was that in the morning, one of the photographers, they didn't turn up. They just didn't turn up. And I was there and the manager's there and she can't shoot because she had a sore back. And she's like, what are we going to do? I'm like, send me in, coach. I'm ready. And she's like, but you're not a photographer. I'm like, I sell the same shit every single day. How hard can it be? Just tell me what buttons to press. So that was it. I started. I got set up in the studio with the lighting and camera and started taking photos, and as a studio average was £800.
Wow.
I sold like £1,900 to that particular client, and I was like, photographer,
Yeah.
there you go. So
Well,
then,
you got the best of both worlds though, because you're shooting because you know what's selling. So
oh,
you're having the
absolutely.
energy is selling during, like, that's the thing, is you can sell during the shoot, right? You can be selling that this is going to be amazing wall art above your couch,
Yeah.
like it's a
Well, you don't even
conversation.
have to do that. You just have to shoot what people buy. Like, it's
Right.
really simple. They always buy the same stuff anyway. Like, it's not rocket science, people. Like, it's ridiculous. But from the UK, I got kicked out of the UK because my visa had
Oh,
run out as per normal. I worked for, do you know Nick and Jerry Gionis? Do you know
I do
Jerry
know that
Gionis?
name. Yeah, I do
From
know that.
he runs the Icon Awards.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I worked with Nick and Jerry at Exite in Melbourne for 4 years, photographing weddings, and then I started my own business in the portrait world, where I've photographed, up to 500 families per year, 200
Yeah,
newborns a year. Had myself and a team of 3 others, and I sold that in 2015 due to family circumstances, and we moved to Queensland. And then I've been coaching photographers all around the world ever since 2016. And it's awesome because I get to lift the lid and see inside, the real inside, all these photography businesses from around the world. And I can tell you now which ones are the ones that are actually walking the walk and talking the talk, and which ones are talking crap and are actually all show and know anything. So it's quite fun. I love it.
that I mean, from my passion is making sure that photographers have successful businesses, right? So I
Yeah.
love the fact that it'd be quite interesting to you know yeah, and well, you could probably do something like, well, this person has 75,000 followers on Instagram. You think they're amazing. Actually, they're losing 20K a year, right? This person
Oh,
has, there's a perception of, and it does actually hinder newer photographers to raise their prices because they think,
yeah.
oh, well, that person's doing so well. You have no idea if they're reposting the stuff that they did last year, or they're really busy, or they're doing it for free. So
Yeah.
I love that. And with your coaching, you do one-on-one coaching, and you also do mentorships as well, right? So I'd love to know more about like how you help photographers.
Yeah.
What is a typical like coaching
What's
session?
the,
Or
what's the flow? Well,
yeah,
just to go back for 2 seconds on the comment of photographers showing things. The
yeah,
saying goes, don't compare your front end with someone else's back end.
right.
So just repeat that just so you can catch.
And don't
Don't
compare.
compare,
Yeah,
don't compare your back end
yeah.
with someone else's front end. So in the
Okay.
back end of your business, you might be in a mess, but the front end, you're only seeing their Instagram and their Facebook and their world. And it would shock you, Jane. It would shock you how many times someone's done podcasts, interview, posts, all different things about their business, and then that week or the weeks before or months before or whatever, I get the email saying, Mark, can you help me running my business because I'm kind of drowning or something like that. And you'll be absolutely shocked and surprised how many people I know that have been put on the pedestal, and then the next very breath is, I need help.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting.
It is interesting, and it's also, I thought you were going to say, don't compare your year one to someone else's year 10. So that's
Oh,
another
yeah,
thing too, is
all that
like,
as well.
yeah, because I think even just the front end part, you can't compare someone else's, workflow. It takes time to build in
Yeah,
systems and build in workflows. I mean, you were trained on the boat, right? You were trained by
yeah,
somebody to sell. You were trained by somebody at the studio to
absolutely.
sell. So there is an element in our industry, when you're an independent photographer doing it on your own, that there is no sort of like, I say this because I was jealous of the hair care industry in America during COVID, because they had like everybody fighting for them, everybody this. And I was like, where's ours? But they're, you hairdressers, they go to school and they learn to be a hairstylist, and then they have an apprentice program. There's no
Yeah,
sort of real like apprentice program apart from getting coaching from Mark Rosetto.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, or Rick Sello, like just
yeah.
find, you have to realize it is in you know, unless you're working for another photographer, learning from them, you have to replace that with education, with someone that's been doing it for like 10 years, somebody else that is down the road further than you, where you want to be.
And all
So
of this is so accessible now.
yeah,
Like back in the day, back in early 2000s, you know, Jerry Gionis was the trendsetter with the Ice Society in 2009, which was the first online platform for the photography world and creative live.
yeah,
You didn't have so many Facebook wasn't even invented.
no,
You didn't
right,
have Facebook groups and
no,
Instagram groups and online training and all these YouTube videos. The only way that you could learn is you literally carried a photographer's bags, or
right,
you went to a workshop, or you actually sat down with them and you worked for someone and you learnt on the job, on the task. These days, you can learn anything online in an instant for
yeah.
any topic that you want to think about. And it's
But
really
I
not
think
that.
well, I sort of have two sides to that, because I think
Yeah.
also it made you more focused, right? It made you like, okay, I'm going to go to Adorama. I mean, I'm close to New York, so Adorama still had workshops, B&H and,
Yep.
you know, PPA. They had the programming and the education from
Yeah. Cool.
experienced photographers. Now I can
Awesome.
go on YouTube, you know, and first of all,
Everyone's
there's so many, everyone's a photographer.
everyone's a
You have
professional.
no
Everyone's an
idea.
expert.
I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years and I struggle feeling confident enough to, and I have an MBA and I'm like, should I be doing this? And I'm like, yeah, you should actually, Jane. You're doing people a disservice by not speaking up. But I do feel sorry for newer photographers because of the information overload. And it's like, what should I do? What should I do?
There's a lot of
Versus
noise.
in 2009, 2008, when I was looking into it, it's very easy. And
Yeah.
you didn't have to keep up with Instagram or anything like that. I think I had a website, email, and a Facebook page, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't have a Facebook page right away either. I know I did. I did have a Facebook page, but I actually, at least that got traction at that point. But I think with all the noise, it's really hard to find the right education that's going to work for you too, right? You know, like you find the right teacher, find the right coach, or you find the right podcast, you know, and
Yeah.
that's going to resonate with you, versus I'm just going to make a quick buck because I have a camera, and you're like, okay, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where I'll interject here. This is where the Professional Photography Business Network is awesome,
Right.
because one of the key things that we're trying to do now is, why learn from one when you can learn from many? You
Interesting.
learn from one, you're a copycat. You learn from a many, and it's research. And
That's smart.
you've got lots of photographers that you're listening to podcasts, you're listening to PBBN TV, you're listening to the master classes, you've got the live training. You're listening to all these photographers who are giving their expertise, but they're all coming from a professional kind of background,
Yeah.
not the Mark Rosetto show. Mark said to do this, so I have to do this. Mark said to do that, so I have to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you stuff up, guess whose fault it is? My fault.
But
Because Mark
also,
said,
yeah, but I also have found people learn differently from different things. Someone's going to resonate with you and be like, I want him to teach me. I want blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, there's for me, what I found is there is a certain photographer type that when I explain pricing, they get. When someone else explains pricing, they tune out. It could be was talking the same thing, the same model, or like calculate your prices, but the way I say it. So I think I love that you have more than one and different experts that they can learn from, because it's not the Mark Rosetto show anymore. I'm sorry.
No, there's not one way or the highway. If you ever get a coach or a person or a group of people saying, just follow this and you will be successful, run away, red light warning, they're talking shit. Because it doesn't matter how good your Facebook ad, if you haven't got the right business model with the right products, with the right price list, with the right website, with the right education, with the right automation, with the right conversational skills, it doesn't matter. We can generate you hundreds of leads within a few days, but if you can't pull that together, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, and it's actually funny you say that. I have a very good photographer friend who did training in Facebook ads, and he would like help one-on-ones, and he said, but people get frustrated. But like the website wasn't, the ad was amazing. They would get leads,
Yeah.
but then they'd leave. And like, I can't do anything about the website, you know? So it's a business. 90% of it is like, where are your client touch points? They all have to sort of line up and go from there. Yeah. And I agree. There's not one way. We're all
No.
humans. We all have a different way about us. You know, I mean, I don't do the sales. I didn't get sales training at a gym or on a
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah.
And I just prefer, I've been doing this since 2010 of like charging for my digitals and charging for the session in one package.
Yeah.
And I've booked, I mean, within 3 years, I've repeat clients like crazy and I'm booked out. And if you looked at the back end of my business, it'd be very good.
It'd be
But
good. Okay. Completely.
people also like, you should do in-person sales or you should do that. I'm like, I don't want to. And so my model's fine. If somebody else is a great salesperson and they just are really into artwork and can sell, great, good for you.
Yeah.
But I fully agree with there's not one right way. It's just make money from it, please. What is
Thanks
I'm going to ask you a question. When you have someone on coaching or if it's one-on-one or and they're moving, I mean, you had to move, you get someone and be like, help me move my business to another country or another part of Australia or the US or wherever you are listening to this. What would the first thing you'd tell them to do?
It's tough for starters. Like it's an uphill battle. Like moving anything is really tough. Moving a business, like you are literally starting from the ground up. So one of the new rules of business of 2024 that we've been teaching on at the moment is relationships are king. Right. Relationships will dominate any marketing strategy that you will do. So if you were traveling to a different place, I would announce that you're moving to a different place, ask your friends, family, relatives, your community to go, hey, I'm moving to this place. Do you know anyone that would love to be photographed, that needs to update the work? That's what I'll be doing first. The second thing is when you get there, it's a new place, it's a new location, it's a new shooting space. So I would do a major giveaway where you would go, I have just moved to the, introducing Mark Rosetto. I've just moved into your area. I'm a photographer from the other side of the world. And this is an amazing kind of destination area that we've moved into, but I would love to update my portfolio with some new locations in the area. So if you are a family who would love to give me a hand or update your family portraits, please click here, which will go to a landing page. A landing page will be Facebook pixeled. It will have a contact form. The form will fill out the details with who they are, email, phone number, who's going to be in the experience, and why do you want the experience kind of done. Then with the tick the box, if you are not selected to receive this complimentary photo shoot, would you be interested in additional photos at a special offer? And then from there, you probably would get, depends on the size of the town, could get 20 leads. You could get 200 leads, 200 new fresh eyes on your business. And then you would pick your 3-4 people, do the photo shoot, give them the files because they're doing you a favor, not you're doing them a favor.
Right.
So don't be stingy and don't be like, oh, they didn't buy anything. It's like, no, you asked them to help you. They've fulfilled their part. They're helping you. But you get new images, new locations, new things, put them on social media with the photos. And then that would be the active marketing strategy. Then the passive marketing strategy was be connected in your community. Like join Chamber of Commerce, join your Facebook groups, join your different areas, get known in that space because there's probably been a photographer in that town that's been there for 30 years and they photograph everybody in town. But if that photographer moves on, they're going to need to go somewhere else. Maybe you're offering something different. Maybe that photographer is just doing studio portraits and you're offering outdoors. Maybe they just do outdoors and you're offering studio, or maybe you're offering newborn or pet or seniors or weddings. Like when they zig, you zag. So if you've got some dominant players in your area that you're moving into, you might have to be flexible and don't photograph exactly the same way with the same style, with the same presets from Imagine, and you realize it's actually their presets that you're copying, and then you're wondering why you're not getting work because you're just the copycat of what someone else is doing. You might need to have a fresh perspective of your business and be like, okay, I know I did this in this town, but moving into this town, what do people really want and what's my demographic and how do I reach them? That's what I
Yeah,
would do.
I think that's fantastic. I have 2 points from that because I have just you've got my brain spinning. I love the giveaway. And what's interesting about that is, would you be doing this on your Facebook page, or would you be doing in Facebook groups that you've joined, or how would you market
Everywhere.
that?
It's a
Everywhere.
landing page. I don't give a shit where it goes. Everywhere.
Yeah.
It'll be like, go wide,
Yeah.
cut
So for,
paste to all the groups and just be kind of like, I am here,
yeah,
website, Facebook, Instagram, people
yeah,
you know, anything. Email list to go, hey, I've moved into this town. Do you know anyone? At this stage, you know nobody. You've got
yeah,
no exposure. No one knows you even exist.
yeah. So, and you also could be quite selective of who you picked for the photo shoot. They could be an admin of your local
Absolutely.
mom group, like, or something like that. And I will say it's interesting that you say also to look at the area. I remember speaking to a photographer, and she was actually looking to get into newborn photography.
Yep.
And she was literally in a town with three, I mean, I would probably run scared, right? And I'm a newborn photographer. Three amazing photographers, like slightly different styles, like newborn, solely focused on newborn. And they were well known, they were educators. I'm like, why? No offense, but why? And she's like, oh, because I see them doing it. I'm like, but you're like, no one's going to go to you, right? Because they were all like semi-different price points and stuff. So tough. I actually had a good conversation with her, and I was like, look, let's, have a conversation. I was like, you could do family shoots, you could do headshots, you could do this until somebody else moves away, because there is going to be a gap in your market, right? If you have a Google account and you do Google ads, you can actually see the density of like who's advertising. Like in my area, heavily newborn, heavily family, like paying out of the wazoo. Headshots, no. And so when I do a Google ad for headshots, I get a great return on investment. But it was like, how can I fix this? Like Google ads price with photographer density. So, like, and then I could be like, where's my market and stuff, and use it as a time for growth. I love like new locations, but even new genres. Like, hey, I've always wanted to do,
Also, too, what you just said about moving to areas, like I've got a photographer who I've been working with for quite a while, Cassie, in the UK. She's one of those photographers that is right in the middle of two other amazing family newborn photographers that charge £200 for nothing. So when we did a podcast, we did the PBBN TV interview specifically on this, when they zig, you zag. So she differentiated herself that she's the only one with the studio space.
Right.
The others don't do any finished artwork at all. She's the only one in her town that specializes in finished framed and finished artwork. So some people like yourself that you said earlier, you don't want to touch that shit. You don't want to do IPS. You don't want to do that.
I might have, if there was
like
two other photographers and I needed to differentiate myself, I might have had to. I haven't had to, right? So I would be open to it.
So what we did for her is like, it's like, okay, what are they doing and what are they not doing? Whatever they're not doing, we're going to amplify that. And then she's been doing really well ever since.
That's actually a really good point, because you can have a there are other things that you can do to differentiate yourself. Like have finished artwork, have a studio. I think that's fascinating.
And just the personality as well, that relationships with people, like in your community, like they'll choose you over you before they'll choose the artwork.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you had the same, and even when photographers are really hard on themselves about their art, goodness, I was like, people are hiring you and the experience that you bring in, and they're coming back for me, right? They're coming back for the experience. And I will say, dads that refer me say, oh, she's kind of funny and it doesn't suck. And I was like, great, shall I put that on my website? It doesn't suck.
Kind of funny. It doesn't suck.
There's one dad so this one family, the mom would refer me to the other mom and be like, she's really great with kids, the photos are amazing, she just brings out their personalities. And he would say, yeah, it's kind of fun, she's kind of funny and it really just doesn't suck. And I was like, great, that's gonna go on my website. So love it. Nothing about my work in there, right? Nothing about the artwork in that comment.
All about personality.
Yeah, all about, and you know what? In my sarcasm British sarcasm in the US is probably not for everybody, but it was for him, obviously. Um, have you, when you're coaching or in your business, like we talk about marketing, you talked about relationships actually. Would you say that's your favorite form of marketing, or is there a, I love Google SEO or blogging, or, is there, I mean, I know it's massive. The thing about it is it's massive, but if you had to pick one, what would it be?
One.
One.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
You can't have an email list. You can't have anything else.
Just one.
Go
If
back
you're gonna
into
do
time. Go back in time to 2005, whatever it
all
was,
right.
right?
Okay, so I'm gonna pick two.
All right, fine. I'll go let you
Two,
pick two.
because one is the relationships. Like that
Yeah,
is like a given. That's a
yeah,
given thing. Like that is the
fine.
one thing that
Yeah,
you need to do.
agreed.
That's a
Yeah.
given. Probably the one marketing strategy that I find as a fail safe and forever going to be really awesome is your past client retention.
Yep.
Anything with past client work, but my favorite is got to be family of the year, family of the month, family of the season, for sure. That has got to be the greatest marketing strategy of all time that costs you absolutely nothing, and you can do time and time again because it's a dark ad, so it's not so public that everybody sees it, and your past clients are the drivers for it, and you can generate anywhere between 20 and 400 leads within a 3-day period every month
Tell me
religiously.
about that. So like family of the, so how do you do that? Is that Google ads or Facebook ads? Or it's like, how do you
Nothing.
market?
Nothing. Okay, so how do I put this in the easy explanation? There's a
Top line,
masterclass on
because
the
I'll have to do,
PVPN, all of
yeah,
this.
masterclass on this,
But
but like he's going to give me the top line because then I'm going to go watch a masterclass. I'm going to say,
yeah, so the easiest way to say this is like, you've just had a family shoot. The family shoot was awesome, design artwork and things like that. And you turn to them and go, James, would you like to be in our family of the month or the season or year competition? Now, depending on the size of your studio, is depending on whether you do it monthly, seasonally, or per year, right? And they're like, and you would say, what's that? It's like, well, every month what we do, or every season, every 3 months. Let's just do every year because it's just easy. Every
yeah,
year we choose our favorite clients that we've photographed that we absolutely love, and we pop you up on the website. And then from there, we share the link around to families and friends, and people vote for your favorite person for the favorite family shoot, and the one with the most family shoots win a small trophy just for fun, and or $1,000 to put towards your next photography shoot, or, and it's all in the delivery. So Jane, if you were like, I really wanted the 20 by 30 in the metal print of the two kids, but you were just stretched and it costs about $1,000, and go, oh Jane, if you win, I'll just give you that. All you have to do is tell your family and friends
yeah,
to vote. That's
right.
all you have to do. And you're like, is that it? Like, yeah, sure.
Of course you're going to
So
send it.
what's going to happen is that if let's just do the maths, and I'll write this down and get my calculator so I'm not talking gibberish, right? Just say you pick 20 families for a year, because a year, 20 families is not enough. And out of those 20 families, you get 20 votes each, right? 20 votes. Now, the best part is it's friends, it's families, it's colleagues, it's people from school, it's people from sports, it's people from everything. So you've just generated 400 leads
Yeah,
within a 3 to 5 day period. Now, you might not, that's just once per year. Imagine if you just picked 5 families a month and you got 20 votes. 5
yeah,
times 20
100.
is 100. Now, if you times that by 12, that's 1,200 new eyes on your business every
And new
year.
hits to your website, even,
New
and
hits to
they're
your
looking
website,
around.
new hits to Facebook, new hits on your Pixel, new hits on everything. Now, and then they go to the website, they enter to win, they fill out a form, and obviously there's a key line of, would you like to receive a family portrait for yourself? And you tick yes or no. Now, you got to be careful who you give it to, because you don't want to give it to your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, your auntie, and your next door neighbor. And they go, we all got a gift voucher. And it's like, you're in trouble. So there's definitely method to the madness of
Yes.
that. But if you can do it once a season and you're getting 200 leads, and
Yeah.
if you get 10%, 200, if you get 20 shoots per season, 4 times a year, just on that strategy, and it's cost you $0.
Yeah.
And it's a dark ad. The reason why I say it's a dark ad, yes, it's on your website as a hidden page. So the only people that really know about it are the families that are entered into it, because it's them that are going to share it for you. Again, if I go to my strategy number 1, relationships are king for 2024, that trust, desire, excite, delight, entertain is already there, because that family know the family that know you, and it's like the 1 degree of separation. So that trust is already there. So when you call them or contact you or whatever, you'll be like, Jane, it's Mark. Goes, oh, you voted for the Smith family. How do you know them? It's like, oh, I work with them. It goes, aren't they just amazing? It's like, oh, yes, they are. They show me your photos and you did such an amazing job. And then obviously you're off and running.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just think it's also something fun, right? Everyone likes the contest. And it's also the people that are voting on that, like they're seeing you and they're seeing that you do things like that. Maybe they want to be the family of the month, like, I don't know. It's just fun.
The snowball effect.
It's such a snowball effect.
Because then that family wants to be in it next time, and then they already know it, and they're like, Mark, I'm all over it. I know exactly what I need to do. So it costs you no money. It just costs you time. Once you've built it the one time, once you build the website the one time, the landing page, you just duplicate it, change the photos, change the name, put it in the email sequence, and you're off and running. And yeah, it's just my favorite thing. It's just the best.
Yeah.
I hate spending money on marketing. I'm a biggest tight ass. I'm like, there's other ways.
Well, there is other ways. And I actually, you have to find the one thing that works for you, right? And that works
all the
for
15
bringing you in.
things.
The 25 things, but like there is, the fallback of something that like is your go-to. Because I think personally, like you can be a really great writer, so blogging and Google and SEO could be great for you. But like, or you could be, all right, I love email. Like me, I actually really love email because every inquiry I get, they go on my newsletter. Some people are great at Reels or Instagram, or Facebook, but
it's a whole folder of ideas.
Master your marketing. Is that
the whole folder? There's 60 marketing ideas here, and it's a mix between your digital, active, and passive marketing strategies. And it doesn't matter who you are, you need all 3. You have to. You have to.
Digital,
you have to be passive. People got to know who you are in the first place. You've got to be active. You got to go and grab your clients, and your digital side is amplifying what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's so important.
It's so important. And I love how you do the 3 that match, like that. You can't just do one. You can't just all be online. You have to make friends.
Exactly. If you're too passive, you're going to be waiting for a very long time for your phone to hopefully ring, hopefully that they'll come and kind of reach you at some time. When you're ready, I'm here. When you're ready, you're going to wait for a very long time.
Yeah.
If you're too active, you're always on sale. You're cheap. You're nasty. You're bait and switch. You're constantly special, deal. Come in. And if you're on your digital all your time, you might spend hours and hours and hours and hours on social media posting. But if you're not actively engaging, like you could wait a long time. Like we had one of the marketing strategies just on the 29th of February, which is a leap year. So we had the 1-in-1 4-year special offer for $29. Book yourself, $29 shoot fee. 1 day only, 24 hours, right? And we had a whole heap of photographers do this within the Professional Photography Business Network, because we understand it's not about how much you make at the start, it's how much you make at the end.
Right.
So the $29 shoot fee was just an excuse, an offer, a tripwire. It was for people that were on the fence, that were looking at kind of booking. I think the most that someone booked on that 24 hours was 19 people. And the average was about 8 to 10 people were getting bookings. So
and
8 to 10.
These are finished artwork. Just to clarify, $29 is a session fee only. It is not.
It's a shoot fee.
And any product or any digitals.
Nothing.
So that photographer will make money on upselling and selling finished artwork. So that's one thing that I have to clarify because in the US, a lot of people see just the shoot fee and then include all the digitals. And so
Yeah.
that is not what we want to do. So before we got on the recording, you were chatting a little bit about, you had drawn me a triangle about effort versus, so it's more the low end, high end. I sort of really liked it. And what we do is we sometimes think, oh, it has to be either or we don't see the effort that goes into different things. So Mark, I'm going to, you explained it so much better than I did. So I'm going to let you explain it.
So when we're talking about there's three main things. Like you've got your volume photographers that you need that high volume, or you go the other way that I don't want to do high volume. I can do 1-2 shoots a week. I just want a high average. Or you go, I want to do 5 shoots a week, but the shoots only take half an hour and my average is pretty standard, but I'm making quite a lot of money with the least amount of time and effort. So how it goes is you've got a triangle, right? And that's time over effort. Effort. So time over effort. And then you've got it as a scale, right? You've got your volume and you've got AVO, which is your average order. Okay. Now, there's a balance between time and volume over average and making sure that the amount of time that you're spending with your client and the time in your marketing and the time in your socials and your time in your effort is attracting the right volume with a right average order. Because every photographer would love it if it was like this.
Yeah, I know what you're going to try.
Small time over effort, low volume, high average.
Yeah, why not?
Everybody wants that, to do the least amount of work as possible with one client and get paid like $10,000 a shoot.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
The way that we need to not be is you need to be this way, where it's like lots of time over effort. I don't need to write that again, but it is high volume and a low average. So it's a little bit of a balance game, but it also helps having the right software, the right systems, the right automation, the right workflow. You need to get the right business model with the right products, with the right price list to suit your lifestyle and your family situation. And you need to make sure that you have the right amount of time and effort to show value and quality and service and product and expertise with the right amount of volume, with the right average. Because I can tell you now, I think you said as a brand new photographer starting out with only 6-12 months experience, expecting this massive high average orders, but their business is in a mess and they don't know what they're doing, is you're kind of shooting for the stars kind of scenario. So it is a balancing act, and trying to find that balance is what I kind of help and specialize in, and going, right, what's your business model? What's your workflow? How many hours have you got? How much time do you have? What are your ages of your kids? When do you want to work? When do you not want to work? What's your strengths in social media or writing or blogging or your marketing strengths? How's your shooting style? What's your average? And then it's like a big piece of the puzzle that we all wrap up in a little ball together to go, right, taking everything into consideration, taking all these different factors into consideration. Here's the 2 or 3 business models that you could pick and choose. And then we'll go through what could, should, would, like all those examples of successful photographers around the world. Like they all work, but it's got to kind of like, when we explain it, Jane, it's kind of like, here's your 2 or 3 options that you could, should, would do.
Right.
Which one resonates with you the best? And then the other thing that you really need to highlight is when things go wrong, what's going to happen in that business model?
Right.
And the reason why for that is because the surprises are for birthday parties. You don't want to be like, what's happening?
Right.
I can't believe that everyone's just doing this, or I've hit this roadblock and I don't know why. It's like you go, okay, I knew this could happen. Mark mentioned that if I choose this business model, this is the roadblock that we could have come against. Now here's my solutions to get over it type thing. So as long as you have a good grip of what could, should, would happen, and how to overcome the roadblock when it happens,
Yeah.
then it's not a surprise. You're not stressed. You're not freaking out going, oh my gosh, it's not working. Like I've got to start again. It's like, well, no, we said this may happen.
This is what you do.
And this is what we need to get out of it. So
I love
that's
the
my
fact
favorite
that you
picture
look at,
at the moment.
I think it's one of my favorite pictures, actually. I think and if you're listening on the podcast, head to the YouTube channel because he drew a picture of the triangle with the balance of like, you're just basically, it's a balancing beam. The one thing that I love is looking at a business from like just a bird's eye view, right? You know, like you can be putting in like, okay, a decent amount of time and effort,
Yeah.
but then you integrate it to your passive, active, and digital. But I'm only doing it in one, so I'm, even though it looks like I'm doing a decent amount of effort in my business, it's the wrong. It's just solely focused on one. So, and then your systems and how do you know? We had a call, and I was speaking with a woman, and she was doing birth photography, and there was another photographer there. And she said, well, I have no backup for childcare. I have this, I don't, and all the stuff. And then but it can't be for you. Like if you don't have the system for a babysitter in place when someone's going into labor, you're going to need a different genre. There's a lot of different like variables that hang in there. Tell us how we can find you. We will put it in the description of the podcast of like where everyone can find you, including the link. But like, tell us a little bit more.
So there's two things. MarkRosetto.com is me. That's the coaching side of things. That's me. That's where I started and hang out and you get to know who I am. Then you've got the pbbnonline.com, which is the Professional Photography Business Network. Can I give you a quick sneaky peek of what's on the inside of the website? Because you won't be able to see it.
Do. Yes.
So I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if you've let me, but
do.
for starters, you've got the photography group, which you can come in and you can, you know, hang out and see who we are and what we do and how it kind of works, which is all in here, which is just the Professional Photography Business Network. But this is the inside of the platform. So on the left-hand side is the masterclasses. So this is where the masterclasses are, right? Here you go. Family of the Year. Just because I spoke about it, so it's really easy to show, all right? This is what it is. Here's all your email templates written for you. Like it's literally done. You just have to add in your business names. Now, here's the masterclass on how we teach it. Now, it's going to come up with a little error because of the platform I'm on, but here's how to create a landing page. Like it's all there for you. Like literally copy the landing page. Don't stuff this up. How do I put it nicely? Don't put your spin on it. Like just follow the flow. The vote now, the buttons, the radio buttons and the reasons and things drop down for certain reasons as well. So it works like clockwork. It's a landing page that's super, super strong. Like you just need to copy it. And there's a whole video here that teaches you everything about it.
Amazing. That it's funny you say that about the just copy it, because in our software platform, we have done all these automated emails, and I'm just like, don't go in there and change the 3, then 4 day, 7 day follow-up, because we've done all the research for you. You don't, I don't want to do 1 day and 3 days. I'm like, you can change the email itself, but again, slightly put it in your brand, but kind of keep most of it because we've done a lot of research on it.
Exactly.
So
you've got your 10 ways to retain your clients, powerful creating content with AI, maximize selling wall art. Tanner is getting it right in camera. Then you've got the PBBN TV interviews, which you can interview everybody, everything on different kind of topics that you want to kind of cover. This is that learning from lots of people as well. So productivity tools, making money while you're asleep is always fun. But what I love the most is we do live training every fortnight. So every fortnight we come on, we do a live training, and we've covered everything from Facebook ads to landing pages to phone calls, a follow-up process, how to convert more, copywriting, family of the month season, SEO, page optimizations, all sorts of really awesome things, as well as those people who kind of go, I need a price guide or I need a product guide. What's a product guide? How do you make a product guide? Oh, look at this. I've already got one for you. So you've got some templates here of the product guides that you go into Canva and you literally create your own
Amazing.
special, amazing product guides that have all been designed by a graphic designer specifically for you to just
Get
add
sales.
your pictures and move your stuff around. If you want to jump in for free as well, it's really technical. The coupon code is free month.
I don't know if I can remember that.
Jump on in, free month. And we need to get you on to do a masterclass on your software, on
we
how
could do
it
this.
works.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do that. I love talking pricing. I love talking mindset of raising prices. If you have not done that before too, I can talk. But yeah, I'll definitely come in and talk about Pixella. But I was talking to a photographer and he'd actually built his own CRM for his business. And he was like, it's like, well, you know, I might think of selling this. And so it might be a conflict. I'm like, it's not a conflict. Well, there's so many different things that work for different people. Mine works because I was diagnosed with ADHD and I was like, this is why I don't like all the software. I just put it in all in one place and it works on your phone. And that's great. And so, but I think it's one of those things where we actually have, where we recommend other, I need this, I need that. And you're like, okay, well, this one's going to work for you. We're not going to work for you at this point. But yeah, I'll definitely come on. Definitely check out markrosetto.com and Professional Photographers Business Network Online, but shortened it to
ppbnonline.com.
Yeah. And by the way, just so you know, fortnight to translate is every 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, fortnight. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a few Aussie slangs of
it's English. We say it. We say it in England. But I have to always translate. We'd done a group call and it was on Facebook ads and the guys from England and I kept having to translate. I mean, he was just saying so many English things. And he's like, all right, well, Jay's my translator then. I was like, okay, fine.
I did a classic at WPPI at the very start of my talk, talking about Australia, because obviously that's where I live. So talking about Australia, everyone's interested. So where we live and where school is only 200 meters, but there's like a bushland area.
Right.
And there's kangaroos and koalas there. Like there's actually kangaroos and koalas, like literally 200 meters that way. Like it's real stuff. So I said, in the morning, we go hunting for kangaroos and koalas because we go looking for them. So hunting is like, in my head, it was like we're hunting, like we're on the lookout for them. And someone came up with me, is like, you shoot kangaroos and koalas in the morning for fun? I was like, no. He said, but you go hunting for them.
Yeah, you
like
go
I go
looking
for them.
Yeah, you go hunting for it. Like in England, I think it's a similar thing. I'm going to ask you a question and then I will let you go. I just learned recently that Americans use the word quite in a different way to English people. So like if you're like, oh, it's quite nice outside. How would you?
I agree.
Is it?
It's quite nice outside.
Average, like, or just quite, like
quite nice. It's nice. It's quite nice. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's amazing outside. You've got to get outside.
I think Americans, I think, use it in like.
It's quite nice. It's like, yeah, it's a nice day. It's okay. Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's okay.
It's like it's quite nice. Like it's much more powerful word. It's much more positive. And so when someone's like, oh, your photos are quite nice, I'm like, insulting me. They're actually meaning it in a much more positive way. So I
even got an email from an American person saying, thanks for your response. Just a heads up. When you said this, look it up in the American version of what that means. And I was like, because I say it all the time. I'm not going to say it now, but I say it all the time because it's just a normal. It's just I'll say out of the recording. It's just a normal thing. And it's like, no, in America, it is very sexual and it's very inappropriate. And I was like, oh, let's not say that again. So anyway, I'll tell you later.
Okay, we'll tell you later. Actually, if you sign up to go on the Professional Photographers Online group, you can tell everybody when I'm on showing about Pixella and then they can hear their words. They can hear the
exactly.
Words.
Exactly. All the inappropriate things that us Australians say. I love it.
And English and American. I know, it's language. All right. Absolutely. Thanks so much. This has been absolutely amazing. I will let you go. and
All good.
have a good morning. And it's nighttime.
Okay.